Hi, this is Mary from the Daily Sew. A pattern piece has a lot of information on it, as we discussed in a previous video, how to read a pattern. And that information is really important, and you need it when you go to sew the garment, putting all the pieces together. But you want to transfer it to the fabric at the beginning when the fabric is still on the cutting table. Well, actually there's a couple of pieces of that information that will wait until you can try the garment on. Plus, any information that you do transfer over to the fabric needs to be done in a way that you can see it when you're sewing, but not see it once the garment is all sewn together. So this video is all about what information you need to transfer and when to transfer it, and then how to do it in a way that suits the type of fabric you are working with. So if you're ready, let's go. While your pieces are still flat on the work surface, what information do you need to transfer from the pattern to the fabric? Well, I start with the easiest and maybe the most important information, and that is the notches. These notches are triangles, but a notch could also be marked with a double triangle and sometimes a triple triangle. Or they can be marked with a short line and sometimes a very thick short line. Sometimes you will see what looks to be like a capital T, and a double notch would be marked with two T's close together. It's also important to transfer dots. Dots on patterns come solid or outlined, large and small. But this is not a dot. It has a cross in the center, and that indicates it is a reference point for fitting, and it doesn't need to be transferred over unless I'm making a muslin. What about fold lines? Instead of marking the entire line on your fabric or completely ignoring it, you want to make a notch where the line hits the edge. Then the notches will indicate to you where exactly to fold the fabric later. If your dart legs don't already end with a notch on your pattern, you would want to add one there as well. And pleat legs are the same. If they don't have a notch, you want to give them one. So I wait to mark any button and buttonhole placements until I can try the garment on, or at least until I can hold that piece up to my body. And this is because you need a button at the widest point on your body, whether that's the bust or the waist, wherever. You want a button at the widest point to prevent any gapping. So say I know I need a button here, the widest part, but the button markings on the pattern don't match up with where I need them. I will absolutely place a button across my widest part, and then I'll respace the other buttons out in both directions evenly from the new button placement. You always get the final say where your buttons go. Transferring notches is the easiest. Everywhere you have a notch, you make a little snip into the fabric. This is in the seam allowance, so you keep your snips short. Later, when you construct the garment, the instructions are going to tell you to line up one notch to another notch. So don't ignore them, they're very helpful. Where you have a double or triple notch, you're going to snip the 2 or 3 times at each notch. This is a pleat. It's 2 lines that will be brought together. Sometimes a dotted line is marked in between the lines to show you where the fold is. You do not have to mark that fold onto your fabric. Basically, you're going to bring one notch to meet the other notch, and it forms the pleat. This pattern tells me which direction the pleat will go. The other direction would mean that the right notch is going to go to the left notch. So pay attention to any arrows, and sometimes it's in the written instructions, but you don't need to transfer any of the arrows. This pleat is also sewn down, and I know this because it has a line with a dot at the end. So I'm going to bring the notches together, and then I'm going to sew down near the fold and stop at the dot. So I need to transfer this dot. Or I could measure the line. Then when I put my pleat together, I could sew that amount down. I know how far because I measured it. I didn't actually draw the dot. So after transferring the notches with scissors, it's time to transfer the dots. And there are many marking tools that you could use to do this. To get the dot on the right place on the fabric, I like to use straight pins. I stick the pin in through the pattern, lift the pattern, and then I can mark where the pin is with any tool, but only on the wrong side of the fabric. Or I could take an awl and make a hole in the pattern where the dot is, stick a pin in the fabric through the hole, lift the pattern over the pin head, leaving the pin in the fabric. And then my rule is wherever the pin goes into the fabric is where the dot is. And then the pin can exit the fabric anywhere. It doesn't matter. It only matters where the pin goes into the fabric. This is a particularly good way to mark heavily textured fabrics like tweed, terry cloth, velvet, things like that. You place the pin into the fabric, remove the pattern, and where the pin goes in is your dot. Bring the pin back to the front to secure it into the fabric, but remember, it's where it went in is your mark. This is because you cannot mark highly textured fabric. You're just not going to see that mark. So pins are a great way to mark the textured fabrics and delicate fabrics that you don't want to risk marking with chalk or ink. So let's talk about the different marking tools to mark things like lines. One way I like is good old-fashioned dressmaker's tracing paper. It's kind of like carbon paper and it comes in assorted colors. Ideally, you pick a color close to your fabric, but for you to see it on camera, I have to go with the red. The color is only on one side of the paper. You can fold it in half to transfer to two surfaces at one time. Since we usually cut 2 layers of fabric out together, you would place the paper between the layers, and that allows you to mark both layers at the same time. When you only have one layer to mark, like I do here, you lay the paper open flat. You always mark on the wrong side of your fabric. To transfer the carbon to the fabric, you're going to use a tracing wheel or something else to apply some pressure, and you draw over the lines or marks that you want to transfer. You could use a pencil to transfer dots or other small marks. And as you can see, the dressmaker's tracing paper leaves a very clear mark on your fabric. So on heavily textured fabrics where marks aren't going to show, or delicate fabrics where you won't be able to wash out any of the marks, you can transfer marks with needle and thread. This is called Tailor Tags, and you start with a long thread. It's doubled but not knotted. You poke holes in the pattern anywhere you need or want to mark the fabric. Take a tiny stitch into the fabric through the hole. You're not sewing through the pattern, just the fabric. Leave a tail, because remember it's not knotted. And you take another stitch in the hole, and you want to leave a loop of thread about the diameter of your finger. Then take another stitch so that you have about 2 loops. Then go down to the next hole and make another set of loops. When you are done, you clip the thread in between the loops, lift the pattern gently off, and voila, my dots are marked, and these threads are not going to slip out. It's perfect to mark delicate and textured fabrics. But for most fabrics, you can mark with fabric marker or chalk. And to mark exactly where the dot is, you take a pin, put it through the dot, peel back the pattern and or the fabric to get to the back of the fabric, then take your tool of choice and mark where the pin is. So what is your marking tool of choice? Well, there are a bunch to choose from. Let's start with Tailor's chalk. Tailor's chalk is a waxy chalk that comes in assorted colors. Mine are wedge shaped, but others are square with little plastic holders along one edge. No matter the shape, you mark like a pencil on your fabric. Remember to only mark the back of your fabric and don't iron the marks. Tailor's chalk has a bit of wax and it will stain the fabric if ironed. Then there's soap. That's right, soap. And I know it's going to come out in the wash. So you use a sliver of soap or you trim down an edge of a small bar to mark. Soap is particularly good for marking dark fabrics, and again, being soap, I know it will wash away. So Clover makes chalk pens. They are filled with chalk powder and they have a little wheel that lays the powder down onto the fabric. The nice thing is you can buy refills so you don't have to keep buying the pen over and over. The wheel only goes in one direction, but it lays down a really nice line. This is one of my favorite ways to mark fabric. There are chalk pencils too. I never liked these because the lead breaks so easily, but these new chalk pencils have surprised me. They don't break like the old ones do. They have a brush on one end and that acts as an eraser, but still only mark the wrong side of your fabric. The fine point on these pencils is really nice though. I do like that. Then there is a fabric marker with air and water soluble ink. It only comes in purple, but it's really true. The ink does disappear. So you need to mark it when you're going to go to sew it. You cannot mark it and let it sit for a day. The mark will be gone. Pilot makes a line of erasable pens called Friction. These are not fabric markers. They're not intended to be fabric markers, but the ink does come out when heat is applied, as in an iron. However, test your fabric first. I have not had good luck with these, but a friend told me later that the ink washes out if it doesn't steam out. Again, test beforehand, but it is nice to have that fine point. And I like to use a number 2 pencil. I mainly use it to mark dots by twirling the pencil with the point straight down on the fabric. Again, wrong side only. So let's do a quick summary. The most important marks to transfer are your notches, and things that are not notches, like a fold line, can be made into a notch. Dart legs should be notched if they are not already so on your pattern. Remember, notches can be marked with lines, thick lines, capital T's, and triangles, and they come single, double, and even triple. Whatever they use on your pattern, transfer them to your fabric. You do need these for constructing the garment. And notches are transferred with a simple snip into the fabric. Just a little snip. Next, transfer the dots. Wait to transfer your button and buttonhole placements until you can try the garment on or lay the piece against your body to make sure you have a button at the widest part of your body, especially on fitted garments. You want a button at your widest part to avoid any gapping. I wait on the button placement, and sometimes I wait on the hem as well. Then I can try it on and I can hem where I want, making the hem wider or narrower. You could wait to check the pocket placement depending on where and how visible the pocket is. It might need to be lowered or raised. You could also pin the pocket piece onto the bodice piece, lay it up against yourself, and check in the mirror before you sew the pocket down. To mark dots, you have a lot of options. Lots of different ways you can mark the information you need from paper pattern to fabric. And it is important because you need this information when you go to sew the garment. It's much easier to go ahead and transfer all of these marks while the pieces are still flat on the work table and your pattern pieces are still out and maybe even still pinned to the fabric. So on your mark, mark. Well, I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions about it, please put it in the comments below and I'll be sure to reply. And you might want to catch up on the other videos, how to read a pattern and how to cut out a pattern. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.